The money's got to come from somewhere.
There's a difference between collective guilt and individual.
Why don't you feel guilty? No,
I don't.
Yeah, and
because I didn't do it.
I think more black conservatives, but you benefited from it. You benefited from it, and you still benefit from it.
Bill Maher found himself in a heated back and forth with one of his own guests, a woke rapper named Killer Mike, who you can see right there on the right side of the screen. This guy walks onto Real Time with Bill Maher and straight up starts demanding reparations for black people. On live television, no hesitation. And Bill Maher, to his credit, had just enough common sense to push back and shut it down right then and there on his own show. So let's get into the clip where Bill Maher goes head to head with Killer Mike over this reparations demand live on Real Time with Bill Maher. Let's check it out.
My editorial that I just did about how there's a lot of materialism in music these days, and maybe it's not great for the kids.
I think there's materialism in American society, period. We're just, musicians and artists a lot of times, in terms of when art becomes commerce, it's just a reflection of where society is. When you were talking about, you know, it used to be a lot of bitches and hoes and homophobia in there. Bitches, hoes, and homosexuals buy music. And at a certain point, the people who make music was like, it's not cool to keep saying this shit because they got better buying power than just the guys who are mad at home. And what you see now is the people on top of the charts are the Kendrick Lamars, the Drakes, the J. Coles, because society, Hughes said, it's not the vanguard that moves the people, it's not the leadership, it's when the people are ready to move. So I think that, when I have arguments with Anaya, my 26-year-old daughter, I know that there's a change coming because of the way she views the world. So I think musicians and artists for commerce are going to adjust. But when it comes to money, we have an infatuation with money in this country. You know, so much to the point we went and kidnapped a bunch of people 400 years ago, made them work for free and said, boom, greatest nation in the world. So, you know, happy Black History Month. Happy Black History Month.
It's like a relationship fight. You never let it go.
No, you can't. I'll tell you this. Speaking of money, you want to let it go. Prepare a reparations package for black people in this country. For people, and I'll tell you this.
And it's just, come on, man. Everybody watching already knows how ridiculous this is. That's half the reason people tune in, just to watch this guy get completely demolished. But let's think about what Killer Mike actually said here. He walks onto Bill Maher's show, a show where Bill Maher is literally trying to move past the racial division, and Killer Mike's big solution is, oh, you want unity? Easy. Just hand black people reparations and we're good. Yeah, sure. Because nothing brings people together quite like the government cutting checks to one group based purely on skin color. That'll definitely close the racial divide. Absolutely. Pure genius. I mean, you really cannot make this stuff up. What an absolutely terrible take from a guy who clearly had zero idea what he was walking into. If you appreciate thoughtful, respectful conversation, please consider subscribing. It's free and your support is truly appreciated.
Our last time?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, and the restaurant.
That does not count.
You did. You offered to marry my wife if I died early.
Absolutely.
Too, so. But I do think this country could benefit from a reparations package that included cash, that included reversal of redlining by helping black people be homeowners, understand credit, and understand Americans that if the black community has more money, this country has more money. And we need to start seeing ourselves in a relationship.
As long as we have the topic on the table, what do you think about that? Reparations.
Vivek Ramaswamy just texted me his Taylor Swift playlist. I haven't been paying attention, so I'll pass.
Wait, you're dodging this question?
I'll dodge out. In terms of what, reparations?
Sending out a check.
Someone's got to pay. No, I'm not for reparations. I'm not for that at all. At the end of the day, this country owes $34 trillion, and the government doesn't owe that money. You all owe that money. And also, don't be fooled. The money's got to come from somewhere.
There's a difference between collective guilt and individual.
Why don't you feel guilty? No,
I don't.
Yeah, and
because I didn't do it.
I think more black conservatives, but you benefited from it. You benefited from it, and you still benefit from it.
Yes, that's true too.
So my thing is just help spread the benefits.
But you know there are reparations that do go on in different ways.
Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't say absolutely just give me a few $1 million and I'm fine. No, I think that trade and higher level education. I do think a cash payout. I think that there should be a mortgage for.
Honestly, I'd use much stronger words if YouTube would let me get away with it, but I'll keep it clean. This take is just flat out dumb. Like, what exactly is the goal here? What problem are we actually trying to fix if the argument is that reparations solve poverty? Okay, then why does someone have to be black to qualify? Why not just help poor people across the board, regardless of race? And look, I'm not even saying we should be handing out free money to everyone who's struggling. I genuinely don't believe that's the answer, and there's a whole conversation to be had there. But if the mission is tackling poverty, then tackle poverty. Better education for all low-income communities. Real structural solutions that lift everyone up, not a race-based handout that only applies to one group. But here's the thing, that's not actually what this is about. Poverty is just the cover story. Because if it were really about poverty, the solution wouldn't be so narrowly focused. The real motivation. A lot of these people pushing this agenda just flat out have a problem with white people. I'll say what others won't. It's not always loud and obvious. Sometimes it's buried deep. This underlying belief that white people are the enemy and this is their chance to even the score. Killer Mike isn't gonna come out and say that directly, but listen to how he talks, look at what he's actually pushing for, and you can connect the dots pretty easily.
Incentivize black wealth in this country. Robert Smith, black billionaire, had an interesting conversation where he wanted to tax corporations 2% of wealth. Imagine what 2% of multi-billion-dollar companies does for black society. What it does is it creates a place where it's not perfect, but Atlanta black people have opportunity. And if you talk to Governor Brian Kemp in Georgia, we also have a Republican governor who I have a relationship with. For the last 10 years, we've been #1 in business. We've created over 60,000 jobs and have more jobs coming. I would challenge you to help put together a reparations package that made the rest of America look more like the opportunity.
Well, he's from New Hampshire. That's not going to happen.
But if I may, Lord knows I didn't want to get into a reparations discussion.
It would cost you hundreds of dollars up there.
And then you got again, what about the Native Americans who are, you got to go down the list. And when we're done with the reparations package this year, what about
you don't hear black people arguing against reparations for anyone. We've never argued against reservations. We've never argued against any payouts for people America's wrong. We're simply saying, while we're at the table, let's do something to aid the people that until 60 years ago lived in apartheid.
Okay, but like
60 years is not very long.
With Native Americans, we gave them the casino industry. Yeah. What about, Super Bowl?
Could black people have the marijuana industry?
Well, something like that.
Look at his fucking face. Would you give us marijuana? Multi-billion-dollar industry is still fresh. It's still growing. Why doesn't Killer Mike have a marijuana license in Georgia?
I'm out of the business.
Will you call Brian Kemp for me?
I'll call Brian right now. I don't know.
And here's what really gets me. Why does Killer Mike believe he's personally owed an entire industry? Like, where does that logic even come from? You were never a slave, man. Nobody alive today was. And let's look at the comparison he's trying to make. The casino situation with Native Americans. We didn't just hand them the entire casino industry on a silver platter. What happened was the legal barriers were lowered so they could operate casinos more profitably on their land. That's completely different from saying no one else can compete. Native Americans run casinos all over this country very successfully. So what exactly is Killer Mike proposing here? That black Americans get exclusive ownership of the marijuana industry. Does that mean non-black entrepreneurs are just locked out? That no one else gets a seat at the table? Because that's not opportunity. That's just flipping the discrimination around and pointing it in a different direction. The guy doesn't even seem to know what he's actually arguing for. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What did you think about Bill Maher shutting Killer Mike down live on Real Time with Bill Maher? Are Killer Mike's ideas as half-baked as they sound? Or do you think reparations could genuinely fix something? Personally, I don't see it healing any tension. I think it makes everything worse. If the real goal is solving poverty in America, then let's solve poverty for everyone. White, black, whatever. No exceptions, no carve-outs. Just fix the actual problem. Let me know what you guys think below.